When the walls are closing in, words no longer make sense. Sad situations seem to be on the rise. When you're searching, can't find answers. Life's still so demanding. Your prayers seem to hit heaven and fall back down. I'm ready for a change. Ready for a change. Yeah.
Majesty.
Ready for a change. Met pipes, white lines and needles. So many people are trying to break out of Egypt. The world is all about paying evil for evil. There's no peace without Jesus, but they acting like we don't need him.
Alright, so we're out here next to the freeway, right here in Roanoke Park. We're about, I don't know, just on the other side of Walmart in Roanoke Park, California. We came across this this place here. We'll go talk to these guys and see, hopefully they'll tell me their story. Alright. Meet Nate. He's a 35-year-old man living in a tent on the side of a freeway. He's going to explain to you how marijuana, alcohol, and crack cocaine and a nasty gambling habit destroyed his life. Please pay attention. Say your name one more time and how old you are?
Nate.
Uh-huh.
I'm 35.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Wisconsin, close to the capital, Madison.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, it's kind of just like typical suburb sort of, family. I don't know.
Okay, so your mom and dad were together?
Yeah, they're still together.
They're still together?
Yeah.
And do you have any brothers and sisters?
Only child.
You was an only child?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about mom. She was cool. She was kind of like a.
I mean, there's some rough years, but we're pretty chill now. Like,
yeah.
I mean, definitely took a while for her to kind of like get on the bandwagon, so to speak. Like with all like using like a lot of cannabis growing up, and then they were always kind of like just.
Yeah. So you started off. You were in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you started off smoking pot, and mom and dad didn't like it.
Oh hell no.
So tell me about that. Tell me about that experience.
I mean, yeah, like it freaked them out enough that they like sent me away on senior year. Like they were worried I wasn't gonna graduate high school, and they had me like kidnapped in the middle of the night type shit. Sent me away to this program in the middle of nowhere in Nevada.
Really? Did they talk to you about it at first, or did they just yell and scream at you?
No, yeah, just like two random dudes woke me up in the middle of the night one night, fucking handcuffed me and shit. Like,
really? Nothing was said prior?
No.
You're kidding me?
No. Yeah.
That was kind of. How old were you then?
I was 17.
17.
Yeah.
That was a little traumatizing, don't you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was way worse when I got back. That's when I started.
But tell me how you felt at that moment. Like you got these dudes walk in on you, handcuff you, and then you realize what's going on. What's running through your mind?
Well, yeah. At first, like I didn't know what to think. I was like, is this like actually happening? And then I was like, all right, I got to go to the bathroom, and then it's kind of like trying to just figure out a way to get out of it, right? And then I grabbed something off like some tissue box holder, the metal tissue holder thing, and I was like trying to swing at him, but he fucking went like.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it did.
How did you? It sounds kind of. It's funny, but it's not though.
No, I mean it's funny now. I mean I can laugh about it now, I guess, but it was a long time ago. So, I definitely got my sort of revenge on my parents, I guess you could say.
But did you feel? How did you feel like? So you went to this place, right, at 17 because you got caught smoking pot. I mean, were you smoking a lot of pot, or?
Yeah. I mean, I like every day at lunch. Yeah, that was like the thing,
You're just kind of a stoner kid.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
how were your grades?
Well, it definitely affected algebra because I had that right after lunch, right? I failed that 2 years in a row.
Okay.
So.
Let's say, go ahead and say weed's not the best study partner, right?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, but okay, so these guys come in, right? Your parents don't say anything. They just apparently find your weed or whatever.
Oh, I mean, they'd find my weed all the time. They'd fucking constantly be taking my fucking weed.
Okay, so
man.
finally they
Like,
got fed up, and then they called these people in to come get you.
yeah.
And then tell me about those. How did you feel towards your mom and dad when like you go away to this place? Like what's the feeling there? Like betrayal, maybe? I don't know. Like anger, sadness. What is it?
Just like, yeah, like, well, all of that for sure, and like just kind of like confusion, right? Because I didn't think I was doing all that bad, you know. Like I was stoked to be, you know, like becoming a senior that year, and like, you know, that was, you know, that's kind of something to look forward to when you're that age or whatever. But yeah, I ended up graduating early and shit. But I just remember like some nights like at that place in Nevada, like I just remember thinking to myself like, I'm gonna smoke so much fucking crack when I get back, like, cause I had like just kind of like started getting into harder shit, and like I was just like, God damn it, dude, like, you know, like plotting some way to fucking.
Why do you think you started smoking weed and stuff though, and trying crack? Why? Why?
I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Like, I guess it was just kind of like, you know, other buddies were doing it, and just wanted to experience it, or just like be like, you know, like on that sort of same wavelength that they were like getting up on or whatever. So I don't know.
You kind of want to just fit in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't even remember getting high the first time I smoked it, but like, yeah, I just kept fucking smoking it. And,
Okay. So tell me about the place. What's the place like?
it was like it was a house in Mesquite, Nevada, and like it was run by Mormons, and it was all boys. It was all different ages, and it was just kind of like one of those like programs where you know you got like a routine. You know, they take you out to the track and field place. You got to do a lap every day, or you know however many exercises, and then you know you got time to catch up on the fucking schoolwork, and then just like a lot of like random like social building, sort of like people like having like a bunch of different counselors at all times, you know, and then they'd like do like just little like workshops. I don't know, like a
Did you like it at all? Or?
I don't know. It was something that I'll always remember, but
Right.
Okay,
so you
yeah.
made some friends there or whatever, and
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
couldn't wait to get back home.
basically, I mean, like, I don't know. It was like my 18th birthday is when I was able to actually leave, you know, and like I fucking made that happen for sure. So I don't know. I think like my
So you
parents
turned
were cool with me coming back because I had already like completed school, you know, graduated like ahead of everybody, and which kind of made things worse because going back home, I was, you know, like a free bird. Like, you know, I didn't have to go to school. Like I was, you know, I mean, able to get into more trouble. Like, you know.
Right, you had a little more freedom.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me about the mom. How did they treat you when you got back, mom and dad?
I think it was kind of like we treated each other well, you know, but like there was just like something kind of like still like in the background as far as like resentment, or you know, like
You felt like they
me,
resented you, or you resented them? Both.
Well, yeah, like I think I probably made it out to be like well, it was probably kind of like pushing on them, like they made the wrong decision, you know, like they didn't have to do that, you know, like totally overreacted, and
Do you still feel that way?
I mean, yeah.
And
But
you held a lot of.
I've forgiven them for it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like I, you know,
Yeah.
not like I think about it anymore or in a bad way, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really necessary to do that to your kids. Any parents out there listening, thinking about sending their kids away, like
Right. I mean, this is a good point. It's traumatizing.
yeah,
you know?
it really is. I mean, especially like like in the middle of the night type shit, you know, like it's like
Well,
geez.
not only that, you're kind of, I don't mean to interject, but kind of like dishing your problems off onto somebody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about those things quite yet. I haven't really thought too much about them. You're the first person that I've interviewed that has been taken like that and put into a place like that at that age.
My best friend at the time too. Like his parents did that shit too. Like,
really?
yeah, it was fucked up.
Okay, so tell me what happens to you after that. Like, so you're at home. You leave. You're home. You're a free bird. So now you go crazy or what?
I mean, yeah, I definitely like took things a little bit to the extreme as far as like, yeah, just like smoking a bunch of crack and fucking taking my parents' checkbook and writing it out to myself for thousands of dollars. And like, you know, I did that definitely a handful of times, and like eventually they found, like, you know, eventually they looked at their bank account or whatever, they're like, what the fuck, you know? And that was pretty awkward, but
Explain awkward.
just like I remember like sitting on the couch when they're like on the computer and they're like, you know, like, what the fuck, you know, like, but it could have been worse, I guess. But I think they like I think they kicked me out after that for sure for a while.
Where'd you go?
Just different friends' houses, you know, jumped around. I was never like on the streets. I remember I always had somewhere to stay for sure. And whatever like money I accumulated, I was staying in, you know, I'd like fucking write a check out and then fucking get a hotel for a while, you know, and like.
You're still using your parents' stuff, or now you're moving on to other people's stuff? Are you doing fraud there, or?
No. It was mostly just like a few checks that I got from my that I stole from my parents. But
Okay. So what do you do to what else? So your money runs out shortly because you're on the drug habit. So what are you doing to support your habit?
I pretty much like ended up committing a burglary at my friend's neighbor's house, and we went up in there when they were on vacation, and took a bunch of liquor, just random shit we could sell, and then we took off to see my girlfriend in Boston. She just moved out there at the time, and so we drove all the fuck out there in my shitty ass Honda Accord or something, and then ended up like ditching the car because it had no brakes, and then took the bus back, Greyhound bus back, and then I turned myself in for doing that shit. And
what made you decide to do that?
I think it was like sort of like I can't remember for sure, but I think it was like a part of like a deal with my parents, like let me come back and kind of like get my head screwed, like screw my head back on straight or whatever,
So you turned yourself in.
Yeah, I did like 3 months for that, and then
You went back
probation
home.
and shit, and then it was on paper. And then went back home and didn't really fuck around too much, like just smoke weed from time to time, or still smoke weed, but wasn't really trying to fucking it's like, don't even get me started on that shit. It's like,
Well, I mean,
it takes a lot to like really fucking have a good time. It takes a lot to have a good time with that stuff. So having minimal income wasn't really like set out to fucking do too many narcotics, but.
So then, how'd you end up out here?
So from there, I fucking like had a bit of money come through from my uncle, and he was staying with me and my folks, and he was battling cancer, melanoma. And then, yeah, he passed away in my house, and then like nobody in our family knew that he had like a shit ton of money, and so he gave me and all my cousins like 50 grand to go to school, and so that was like the stipulation. You know, I got this money, but I got to spend it on going to school. So I chose to go build guitars in Phoenix, Arizona, and then.
That was the school you went to?
Yeah, it was a luthier school. Became a certified luthier. And it was a short course. It was like 5-month course or whatever. But
what happened? What was going on? Now you're feeling good a little bit.
Yeah,
you got a little school.
It was like fucking some of the best times of my life. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So what happens?
After that, I moved out here, and I fucking I was living the dream basically. Fucking.
You got a job?
Well, I started out in Lake County at a friend's farm, and so just doing like trimming and other stuff like that. And
okay.
Then, after that, I was pretty much just like chasing like music and like selling weed and shit, sending it back and fucking just trying to go see every festival that I possibly could, and just like going down to the city and seeing shows every week and shit, and stayed in Sebastopol a couple years, and then moved out to Bodega Bay, and that's where I was living for like 8 years.
Okay.
So.
With who?
Just myself.
Okay. So you support yourself.
Yeah. I definitely like had a means of like I had like a nice little like route with the fucking ganja for a second, and then when that kind of graduate, like when my guy kind of decided to take just kind of take over or something, that's when I got a job at the gas station out there.
Okay. How'd that go?
It was good. It was good for a while. I mean, I was definitely holding it down. Like after the first year working there, all of a sudden I'm like the fucking man, and like it's like just running the show there, kind of, and then perks of the job kind of started to interfere a little bit, because I would like take like a 6-pack at least every day, and fucking as soon as I woke, like that's when I was kind of like really started being alcoholic, and I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, what am I gonna drink to go to work, and then stop at the store. I might walk over there, grab a fucking one of those coffee fucking alcohol things, whatever it was, and then as soon as I get to work, fucking punch in, take a break. That was my motto, like punch in, take a break.
Okay.
So fucking just start fucking cracking them, dude. Like,
so what happens from there?
I don't know, like nobody ever fucking, I never got in trouble for it, which is kind of like puzzling to me. Like nobody ever smelled it or anything. Like, but yeah, I was like drunk on the job 24. Like,
so you're functioning as an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like.
So when does it start getting real bad for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I definitely met some like awesome people through working at that gas station, and a couple of them transformed my life drastically, and.
What does that mean?
Well, one of my homies, miss him dearly, but he's still alive, I'm sure. But he fucking came through with that fucking raw, and like that was like,
Explain raw. We talking about heroin?
Coke.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I mean, that's like, I don't know, that's like coca to me is like just, I have a real strong passion for it, and it's like in my DNA, and like I wish things were different, surrounding that drug, but it's like one of those things that don't think like you could really teach the right course. You know, like I wish there was like we could educate people on like how to do it properly, or like how to like, you know, not be a fucking fiend and shit, you know. But it's not the way it is, you know. But
So you're back smoking crack?
oh yeah.
Okay.
So
What happens from there?
so yeah, then I started, you know, just kind of fucking off a bit, and then ended up like sort of losing my job. Yeah, I mean, I guess I got fired, you could say. It was kind of like I was asking for it, or I was kind of like really pushing the boundaries, you know, like just getting like, you know, just getting sloppy or whatever. And then, yeah, they let me go, and that was like right before COVID came by. And that's when I just like, you know, ramped it up on the dope and toned it down on the liquor. And fucking like, yeah, I was able to support myself that way for a while. It was pretty tight during COVID because everybody had all that money, you know, and like.
You're talking about the money from the EDD.
Right.
Okay.
So
you're drawing unemployment?
So yeah, I was
During
on
COVID?
unemployment for that time, and then after that, like shit kind of went sour when my guy like got into some trouble and like stopped getting the shit, and like, and then I was kind of like, you know, I had other outlets, or you know, had other sources, but it's just like. It's just tough. It was tough. It was tough to keep up it's tough to keep everything up. How I, you know, was
living.
It was like, yeah.
Okay. So what happens?
Well, what really fucked me up was my own choice, but I basically like smoked like all my inventory in like a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then couldn't really bounce back after that, which is, you know, unfortunate, but. It was my choice. I wanted to. I was, you know, just got caught up in whatever sort of chase I was on, and the come down was a lot better than trying to get up there. But it was pretty well earned experience. I don't know. It's one of the most.
Where are you staying at that point?
I was still in Bodega Bay.
Still in Bodega Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me about how you ended up here, right now, in this tent.
Well, yeah. So after I sort of lost my my, you know, means of moving, like, you know, sort of stuff, like I just kind of said fuck it and stopped paying rent. And I was like, you know, I've paid for this fucking trailer like how many times over by now, you know, like I don't know how much it costs to build one of those things, but it's probably like like $5,000 or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
But yeah, like after like so many years of like just paying for the same fucking little trailer, it's kind of like, well, I should like own this by now, but I don't, and it's kind of like irritating, right? So I was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna pay rent anymore, you know, let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
So I mean, that lasted like 4 or 5 months, and then I got evicted. But
so now you have an eviction.
Yeah.
On your record.
Yeah.
So now getting a place is basically.
Yeah, it's pretty tough in California from what I hear as far as eviction shit.
For being evicted, it's hard. It's very hard to be. To come bounce back from that.
Right.
Okay. So you get evicted.
Yeah.
You get evicted,
like,
and then what happens?
I didn't really know what to do. I just fucking and my parents were gonna help me out, but then like it had already been through the courts and shit. Like I didn't tell them about it, so like, I didn't tell them about it till last minute. And so then I just ended up renting a U-Haul and fucking living in that for like a month or two, and I got hella lucky because I was only gonna rent it for like a week or like a weekend or like a week just to move my stuff into storage and whatnot. When I tried to take it back, I wanted to get a smaller one. He's like, no, just bring it back on Monday or whatever. And you know, I can't remember exactly what he said, but whatever he did, he'd like put in the system that was already like paid for and like returned. So like when I ran out of gas in the damn thing, I couldn't even get the emergency help because in their system it had already been, you know, there. So like I was like, shit, I got this thing now. Like, you know, kicked it in that for fucking 2 months solid, and then yeah, I tried to live with friends, and then they fucking, I don't know, didn't see eye to eye on something. It was really weird shit that was going on as far as like people that I thought were like my super good friends, and then like having like just like their worries or their like projections get in the way of like actually like helping me, because I was living at my buddy's house and I was like about to start paying rent there too, and then all of a sudden he's like, no, you can't stay here and shit. And then I was like literally like 2 days before the like court date, and it just like totally threw me for a fucking like, I don't know, like just like a total wackadoodle sort of fucking like mindset at that point, because
You panicked.
yeah, I was like, you know, like yeah, it was just bad timing on all of it, and so then yeah, I ended up missing the court date, and you know, couldn't get the job.
So now you got no job. So now what? You're depressed?
I mean, it was a little bit depressing, but I don't really like to hold on to that shit. I mean, if I gotta sit with it for some karmic reason, I'll accept that. But you know, it's kind of like a wavelength. It's kind of just like a wave. It's like your choice to ride it, I think.
So then you lose. So you lose the U-Haul.
Yeah. This was I ditched the U-Haul, or you know, I brought it back to where I rented it. You know, I just parked it outside and
then
left the keys in it.
So then what happens to you?
And then and then I stayed at my buddy's for about a month, and then that all fell through, and then I started living in my car, and then I fucking just was doing that, and just kind of I don't know what to say, like I applied at a few other places, but I didn't really have any like real motivation to get like a 9 to 5. And
Why do you think that is?
probably because I've developed like a strong gambling addiction,
Oh,
and I'm pretty much like on my phone like all the time, like on various different online casinos,
really?
you know, just like constantly playing.
Wow.
And you know, sometimes I can cash out, but you know, other times it's like just a lot of time that goes by, because I'll like fuck around and get like the free money where I don't have to deposit, and you know, sometimes you gotta wager like 60 times that amount, so it's like if you don't hit a jackpot, it's like taking fucking days, you know, it takes a long ass time.
Mm-hmm.
But
So would you call that an addiction? For sure.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Do you think it adds to your homelessness?
probably.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, if I had like a desire to have a job to like go to every day type of thing, I doubt I'd be like living in a tent.
Right. Do you want to change?
I'd like things to be different, but like I don't know exactly how to change, I guess. You know, it's one of those things, like, I mean, I'm pretty much like content in a way, but there's definitely a lot of uncomfortable situations, like a lot of.
Okay, that was my next question. So, how long have you been on the streets? About a year or so?
Solid year.
A good solid year.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what's the hardships of being in a tent? I mean, obviously, right? There's no shelter. I mean, you are in a tent. There's no running water.
Right.
There's no.
Yeah, it's always like an extra effort to fucking
bathe, wash your clothes.
Get that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all your basic needs are kind of hard to get, right?
Right.
What do you think what do you think the solution is for that?
I don't know. It's kind of like depends on where I'm at, and like I lost my car recently too because I was parked on the street for like 5 days, and there's like a 72-hour notice or whatever, and
Yeah,
they didn't give me any sort of warning and shit. And then all of a sudden
it's gone.
I go walk to the store and like come back an hour later and they snaked it on me, man. It's really tough. And it's like
Sorry to hear that.
trying to I put so much work into that fucking car too. It's like an older Jaguar,
Yeah.
and it was starting to get to a place where I fucking was really happy with it again. But
Do you want your life to be different?
fuck yeah, I mean, it's kind of just like annoying sometimes, like then recently I stayed at a friend's house in Windsor, and I like just met this person like randomly, and she was nice enough to let me crash on her couch, and it was like kind of tough when she asked me to leave because I was like starting to get used to that, like, but I don't know. Just,
If I had a solution or a magic button, so to speak, to make your life the way you want it, realistically, I'm not talking about fairy tale land where you're living in a mansion or whatever, but what would your life look
everybody
like
should be living in a mansion, but
if I could push a button and fix your life? What would it look like for you?
I don't know. I kind of got like plans to go out back to Bodega Bay, and it's easier for me to like have access to those kind of things because like I got people out there, and there's like showers, and like I mean I can get fed like easily. My friend owns a restaurant, and like I don't know. It's just like that's home for me, Like, I kind of just miss being there.
Yeah.
I never really like think of myself as actually like homeless, like
But you are.
I'm houseless.
Nigga,
Because
I like
there's this
style.
whole like this whole fucking like vibe or something that people, as soon as somebody hears the word homeless, it's like, you're like instantly discredited or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a weird thing to see in people, And,
Yeah,
and,
that's exactly the thing I'm trying to make people understand is like, the homeless people are people.
yeah.
They're people. They're people that are homeless, not homeless people. They're people first.
Keep a mentality to where I'm not feeling like a piece of shit or something.
Tell me about the cops around here. How have they treated you? Have you had any run-ins?
Yeah, they're I don't know. I haven't experienced. I don't think I've ever really experienced any sort of like police harassment in my life per se. But maybe they helped me become less like afraid of the police or like less confrontational because
They've been pretty professional.
Yeah.
I just hearing your story, man, it seems to me though that you seem to be all right with where you're at a little bit, And
Oh yeah, I'm all right with a lot of things. There's a lot of fucking.
But you shouldn't be, man. You know what I mean? You really shouldn't be. You need a place to live. You need a job. You need productive. You need good friends. You need good people around you. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you want that for your life?
Yeah, I think I'm just like lazy or something. It's like.
Yeah, maybe so. But, if somebody was to help you, maybe get some motivation or help you change your life, would you be willing to accept it?
Yeah, totally. I just don't know, like, because it seems like everything that I've been trying to do in the last like couple of years has like turned out to be like some sort of fucking failure, as far as like I kind of want to move to like Reno or something just because I probably could live in the hotels out there for free. Like comp me fucking rooms and shit. Like,
Oh, now you're thinking about being a professional gambler.
well,
Nate, come on, man.
I sort of am, but like, it's like I don't know. Like,
Nate, you seem like a smart dude, right? You seem like pretty good head on your shoulders. And let's just face it, I don't think gambling is going to be your choice of a career choice, a good career
I'll
choice.
tell you. So yeah, like I fucked off some fucking money in a weekend real quick, and send me another lump sum, and then I ended up fucking playing blackjack all night, and I doubled it. 1,500 into 3,000 in a matter of like 8 hours.
Yeah. What happened to that money?
I got my car out and stayed in a hotel for a minute, and that was that.
That was that. Yeah. That was that.
Yeah.
You see my point? There's no steadiness to that. Well, I really appreciate you telling me your story, man. And
Yeah, I mean, I sure would like, like some ideas, or maybe like sort of like a way to have a paradigm shift or something, and I definitely want to like.
you just need some help.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening to Nate's story. Please, I'm gonna flash the GoFundMe page. Open your hearts, man, and donate to this guy. Put it in the notes, the memos. I want this to go to Nate, and we'll make sure that he gets taken care of. And peace be with you, and God bless you.
Mama was being abused, and when I started to use, I guess I tried to numb the pain until I just didn't care. There's gotta be a bigger purpose for me. Yeah. There's gotta be a bigger purpose for me. It's been a long, dark, lonely road. Coming up, I had a vision of being a big star running through my head. Surrounded by all these demons, and I'm alone inside. Somewhere amidst all the madness, all my dreams died. The light went out of my eyes, and I believed all of the lies, that I was worthless and I'd never really go nowhere. Misunderstood by everybody, I was a dark child. Rebellion stirring up in me, I started smoking loud. I never thought that if I just opened my heart, that God would give me everything that I dream. Y'all, can I breathe now? You could be wide awake and still be asleep now, yeah. I used to think that I was stuck on my own to fight alone. Now it's clear to me that Jesus never went nowhere. Jesus always had a purpose for me. Yeah, he did. And Jesus always had a purpose